This is Becton 99, your Lord and sometimes personal 2K savior. I'm back with sort of a movie review today. Um, I saw the movie Weapons. I was kind of intrigued from the teaser trailer that came out a few months ago. Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. So overall, I guess I would say there was a point in the movie where I was like, bro, this is stupid. And that's not even me trying to be a contrarian because I was really drawn in by the marketing of the Asian man who played Genghis Khan or Khan a long time ago. And he was kind of skinny in Prometheus. I mean, he's bigger now, um, but I was, looking forward to see him. I guess he's also in Doctor Strange, but yeah, he's really been enjoying his life, and that's not even body shaming. Um, I don't know. I just feel like if I was an actor, I would try to stay um, fit, just because it could open up more roles for you, you know. But like I said, it's it's not my thing, and it's his life. But that visual um, was one of those things that sold me on the movie. Just like I gotta go see this shit. Like I want to know what the fuck that is about. Like why is his eyes protruding like that? Blah 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 blah. How are we gonna explain this? Um, the lead actress, she was just in the Fantastic Four. I did not like her in the Fantastic Four. I mean, she was acting pretty stoic or whatever. I never watched her on Ozark. And I've seen her in a couple things, but this was like specifically the scene where she's at the bar. That was the first time I ever saw her like act cutesy is how I would describe it. But like the way she was looking at the guy and saying drink with me or whatever, I was like, nigga, you better sip up. The one guy, I guess he played Han Solo. Um, his career's had an interesting trajectory. He started out really like primed to be the next Rob Patterson or Robert Patterson, however you say his name, because he had this movie called Beautiful Creatures that was kind of like YA, young adult book turned into movie thing, but it was supposed to be a series, but it never really took off. But they kind of build him as a bit of a heartthrob. I don't know. I feel like obviously he got kind of he's a little bit older, obviously. Not I'm saying older than 2013 or whenever that Beautiful Creatures came out. But I feel like in terms of being a sex symbol, he's gotten sort of lapped by Timothy Chalamet, Rob Patterson, all these other dude bros that girls would clamor over before him. He's turning into more of a character actor, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Um, Josh Brolin, his character was chill, but there was a certain point in the movie where I guess I'll just say a pro that I liked is that Josh Brolin, he was playing sort of a male Karen in the beginning of the film, but then the movie gave him the opportunity to show you that he had common sense, and that's not like mm, that's not really doesn't really happen a lot in life, you know, where you have some antagonist or a person, that's like stupid, and not in terms of IQ, but emotional intelligence or social cues. When they're hard on that line, whatever they're, you can draw the conclusions for yourself. But if they're walking down that line, they're most likely going to be unreasonable, in 90% of every situation, especially every situation that matters. So he was like, his character was honed in on her. It's you. I want my son back. Da 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 da. You think he's gonna like, get a mob to come attack her or something. But once he sees what's going on, you see that there's more to his character, and he's not as one note as the script was making him seem. So that was kind of refreshing, because that's not what happens in real life. So it was just nice to see that, even though it's fictional. So there was a point where the cop character, Han Solo, he's arresting a junkie. So he puts on his protection, his little gloves. He asks the junkie, "Do you have any needles on you?" The junkie says no. He puts his hands in his pocket and stabs himself on a needle. Right? Now, I thought that was stupid, because if you're arresting a person and you ask them this question, you have a knife, you have the whatever, whatever, whatever. Look at that shit. Well, I've been talking for 7 minutes. I don't want to scrap it. I think I'm on to something here. So basically, my fucking alarm went off, which is crazy. But anyway, if you're arresting a regular person or a person that looks like they're not high, you should be on alert for stabbing objects, whatever. Like, you should be on alert. When you're checking their pockets, you need to fucking, pat the pocket down. Even when you put your hand in the pocket, go slow, right? Even so, that's just on a normal person. But if you are arresting someone who looks like they're on drugs, you should be extra careful on this pat down, because this person is on drugs. They may be high now. You can't trust them to give you a straight answer, because you don't know what they're thinking. And even if they might not be thinking nefariously towards you, they're just panicking or scared or doing whatever. So they might have forgot that they fucking have a needle in there. So he sticks his hand in there, punctures it. Later on, he goes and he bangs the main actress. We don't know if he uses protection or not. And then I'm not a doctor, and I never had to Google it. I haven't Googled it. I'm not going to Google it now. I don't know how fast you can get the AIDS or HIV. Like, is it instant? Probably. I mean, his blood's not going to say that instantly. Like, it might take a month or something for it to show up or something. I don't know. But I mean, like, that's what my concern was. Like, this movie was like, so I thought that was dumb. Then when he punched the guy and he tried to cover it up, I thought that was dumb, because that anybody would do that shit. That's at that point. That's not even. I mean, I guess it is abuse a little bit, or but the idea was he should have never pricked himself. He should have. He should avoid that. And I know that can happen in real life, but fuck no. Like in a hospital or something like this, it could happen. There was some movie about that called Puncture. But when you're arresting a person that looks like they're on drugs or they may have needles, you got to be careful. And you got to be careful when people don't look like they have stuff on them. So, but I'm just saying, I'm doubling down on the safety aspect. There's no way I don't think that could happen, you know? And if I'm putting my hand in a junkie's pockets, I'm squeezing the fuck out of them pockets before I put my hand in there. And when I put my hand in there, um, my shit's hella, it's gonna be hella ginger. Maybe they could have some baseball gloves or some shit. That can still give you tactile feel, and maybe they could have like steel toe fingertips, and that way, nobody can get stabbed, in the finger going forward, like in real life when you have to, pat somebody down or something. So that really took me out of it. Him unplugging the camera, going to the boss. And so I was like, there's like a horror movie within the horror movie, because if he fucked the girl and then gave her the HIV, that's crazy. And maybe the junkie man didn't have HIV. We don't know, you know? That would be like a sigh of relief later. But the girl, she don't even know to go get tested. So I'm like, what is the movie saying about this? I guess the other problem that I had with the movie was when you make a mystery, it's like I rather go to a movie not expecting a mystery. I would rather the marketing campaign, shroud that or whatever. Because when you set up like the TV show From, I'm not gonna go on a long tangent about that, but it's like no matter what they say at the end of whatever season or season 5, it's gonna be lackluster, you know, especially since it's 3 seasons already, you haven't even solved anything or whatever. So whatever they say, it could be aliens, uh, I don't fucking know, Wendigos. It's gonna fall flat. They could have a fucking villain come out and say, it was me the whole time, and I'm Satan. It would be stupid. So the reveal in this movie, I was thinking aliens or some shit. When you think about the reveal, I don't know why the man saw a big ass gun. Josh Brolin saw a big ass gun in the sky. What the point was that visual? At first, I thought it was a spaceship. I was like, oh shit, okay. And so I kind of wish it was an alien, now that I'm thinking about it. But the movie's about witchcraft. And I guess um, this I hate horror movies or movies that make statements on how being polite can get you killed. You know? Because it just seems contrived to me. So the real answer is, I guess, if I'm being honest, the mother and dad, I don't know why they let the old lady in the house. They said, "Oh, it was my mom's sister," but it's like, mm, did your mom ever tell you about her sister? Did the mom not know? Like these are like logistical questions, or maybe the lady isn't even really her aunt. Or if they would have said no, what? How would she have gotten in the house? Would she already just cut their hair and do it anyway? So maybe the politeness didn't matter. I guess maybe just made it a little easier for her in the beginning, but she could have forced her way in there. What was the point of other than it being creepy, the witch lady sending the mom to the car to cut the girl's hair? She never really did anything with that. Like she didn't like snap her or kill her, unless like she used her hair to maybe send the Asian dude at her to kill her. And this brings up another point that's stupid with this movie, is that if she was going to send the Asian man to kill her, she should have had the mother kill her in her car outside. Contrived. And I'm not trying to act holier than thou, but I'm like, I want better writing. The police officer went to the tent. I'm jumping around now. He went to the tent, got stabbed in the face. Right? Why not just say, hey, get out of the fucking tent. Shoot your gun in the air. Anything. Or on the ground. Whatever the fuck. He's going to unzip the tent. He doesn't know what the dude is doing in there. That was dumb. And the dude was already freaking out because you fucking chased him over there. So you don't know what he's thinking, Whatever. So that was dumb. Then the dude says the kids are in the house. And I granted that you don't really believe him. But him going inside the house by himself was fucking stupid. Him not calling for backup, at least one car to go check, stupid. Now, maybe the witch could have subdued 17 cops. I don't know, But the idea is at least the cops will keep coming to the house and trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, right? Before they leave. So him going in the house, when he got killed, I felt nothing for the character because he was stupid. There's also a side note where he lied about his relationship status. I don't know why he did that. And I'm talking about the girl at the bar already, she called him. She wanted him to get drunk. She already assumed he was still with the other girl. She did not care. So why tell the lie? In general, because the girl was already down the clown. So I didn't understand that, and then I can understand like wanting to sleep with your ex or whatever, but damn, bro, and then you go home. Yeah, I don't think I like the movie. Then you go home and you drop dimes, nigga. All he had to say, and she would have believed him, is last night I got drunk. I had some bullshit happen to me at work. I got drunk. She said, where'd you stay? I fell asleep in my car, or anything. I'd have said any motherfucking thing. I got drunk. I was too drunk to drive. The bartender Joe, he let me spend the night inside the bar or something like that. On the cot in the back, and I'm frantically calling Joe, like Joe. And in fact, maybe I already have this lie, made up or something. Like when I'm leaving the bar or something, like Joe, the parking tickets. I wasn't here, or I was here, whatever I have to do. So then the girl gets walked up on, and she pours alcohol on her. The actress playing the cop's fiance, though, she was looking kind of good too. I think I've seen her in a few other movies too. But long story long, yeah, it boiled down to witchcraft. Also, too, I guess I'll make this because I don't think anyone's gonna listen. Um, I thought it was weird that they made the principal um homosexual. It was like, you know, his he was wearing like a bow tie and Mickey Mouse shirts and eating glizzies, eating hot dogs, and all that seemed like it seemed like a stereotype, Like, why couldn't he be gay and his partner be gay and they just be chilling and not watching whatever the fuck they were watching and wearing Mickey Mouse shirts and they kind of moved effeminately, It's like they could be two gay dudes who are pretty much like Navy SEALs or something like that. But the movie wanted this caricature of them that way, and it was like, why couldn't he have a wife? You know, and it just seemed like for the sake of having um, diversity or representation, um, you know, they were like, we have someone has to be overtly gay, So, but I just noticed it. I didn't, I don't have a pitchfork, but it's like, come on, bro. I have one more theory you're gonna get for free here. There was a TV show, The Winning Time, and I think that show got canceled because um, most of the characters on the show were historically or based on what we know that they were mostly straight men. So it was like, how do we work in the LGBTQ angle? I did not watch every episode. I mainly started when the Larry Bird showed up, but I've gone on long enough. I think that um, the junkie character, he was something. He gave me something to think about in terms of what people go through on a daily basis and how life can be hard if you have an addiction. And he was kind of like, um, he was doomed, with or without whatever scenario is going on in the movie. Um, and then, the kids chasing the witch. That was a great sequence, though. Like, especially how they did the sound, and the kids' voice is kind of like a choir. I thought that was good. Obviously, I wish that the kids would have come back to full health, but I guess it's a kind of a grim uh, solution. Oh, that brings me to my last point. This is a movie I want to show kids, because the abuse that the kid was suffering, he should have just told any police person or um, teacher you know. And I think that's the biggest takeaway that you can have from this film, is that these kids are making these. Sometimes kids have to make huge decisions about life, and they have limited information. So if there's an abuser in the home and he says, "If you tell, I'll kill you and your mom," so they don't tell. But at that point, I want children to understand, this is my big hope. Tell. If I'm your parent, or if I'm the parent, fuck it, bro. They're going to kill me, kill me. I want you to be free. I want you to be happy. I don't even want you to be in this situation anymore, you know? But to be quiet and just like live in this oppressive environment thinking that you're protecting someone or doing something, it's like, no, bro. The answer is always get help, you know? And so I'll end it there. But that's one of the things that I saw when I saw this movie. Was just like, bro, your mom and dad are pretty much dead. You you're living with this fucking witch lady. Um, I would be thinking, this is my adult brain, but I would be thinking she's gonna fucking try to feed off of me or do this to me, you know, once I'm not useful, and so I get being coerced, but I just hate that. I hate that whole thing because it happens in real life, and the kids are being abused in many ways, and they don't tell anyone because the adult party has convinced them that they won't get any help, or that they'll kill them, or that life will get worse. And I'm like, no, bro. Um, at that point, if there is any collateral from getting the help, it's worth it. It's worth it. So I'll talk to you later. Back to now.